Kentucky for 4 years. And then this week when Bobby Knight, here's Ben going for the dunk. Lost the handle, wanted the foul. That guy we were talking about was right there. Prince. Maxiel kept it alive. And Deng gets the rebound.
Two excellent looks. Great hustle. Saw some terrific body banging in there and people coming out of that. Good high percentage shots. Prince just got to keep his game going because it's going to open up for him.
Phone earlier in the game. Here's some of the stuff going on between he and his former teammates.
Oh! That's all ball. I beat it up. Hey! You never could score on me. Don't hit that on me, boy.
Wallace, always a player who plays with great emotion. We knew this day would be emotional for him. And Alicia Salters, you're over there by the Bulls bench. Ben's been reacting emotionally to some of the things going on today.
He has been, Mike, and we've been saying all night that he's the leader of this young team, that they go as he goes. But especially in that third quarter, the last 5 or 6 minutes, he seems a little bit emotionally unstable and reacting to the fans. They've been heckling him. When he came out of the game late in that third quarter, he raised up his hands and he was urging fans, come on, keep booing, keep booing. So my question for Hubie is, as a coach, when your leader starts to show that maybe he's letting the moment get to him, then what do you do?
Yeah, but they don't look for him for points. What they need for him to do is to get the rebounding and the shot blocking like we had for the first half. Now, the big key there is players are different. Some guys can talk to the stands all night long. It doesn't even faze them at all. The big thing right now, and this coaching staff knows it, is their offense against the zone has been very poor. And that is what is bringing them back. They're getting caught off the dribble. Ben Wallace has nothing to do with this. Their perimeter people are getting off the dribble into the paint. And a player like Maxiel is coming in with 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, and there are no easy layups for them.
And an easy one from Maxiel on the lob from Prince. It's a 2-point game. Maxiel has come in and given Detroit, with that block there, some of the stuff that Ben Wallace used to give them. Tayshaun Prince met P.J. Brown, but a foul was called.
Now, right now, Flip Saunders is doing, he's on the side. He's all upset. Right now he's saying block, block all the way. Now you're going to see it right here. This is a good block. The ball is still on the way up. And my opinion, okay, I thought that was easy one to call. This is a good move. And right there, you're saying, well, that's another block. Well, he definitely got more than the ball in that situation.
He got the left hand, too, when he's coming through. So P.J. Brown comes to the line. I think it is ironic, Hubie, on this day when it's about Ben Wallace's return, a guy in a similar type of mode, and Detroit's asking him to be some of that. He's been in for Rasheed Wallace almost all this third quarter, and he's turned the game around with that energy and being a part of the back of that zone.
That's right. And anytime that he gets his minutes this year, he's been extremely productive. The big thing, you expect this game to be like this. We said in the first half, they're going to make a run. We said it in the third quarter. You knew this would happen. What it comes down to right now is you're a young team. You're only 10 and 18 on the road. Let's see you put together the full 48 minutes.
Luol Deng picks up the personal. You talk about road wins. It's been hard for Chicago to get big road wins thus far this season. As Hubie mentioned earlier on, the Bulls are 10 and 18 on the road, balancing that 22-7 home record. Only Golden State has a bigger margin of being good at home than bad on the road. Hamilton is bumped, count it, and a foul.
Rick Hamilton might struggle. He and Phillips were struggling early in the first half getting good looks. But he's not going to stop his activity. And any time that he is coming on the baseline, he's going to keep pressure on you for the 40 minutes that he's out on the floor. Now, that's one of the very few times that he's been able to shake Heinrich and get a decent look under pressure.
Hamilton jammed his right ring finger at the All-Star game. Scored 22 against Orlando on Friday night. Makes it a 1-point game. He has 18 here this afternoon. Delfino in, along with Lindsey Hunter and Hamilton, McDyess and Maxiel for Detroit. Chris Duhon, Kirk Heinrich, Ben Gordon give the Bulls a matching 3-guard set. Gordon steps back. Maxiel the board. in a long time since the Pistons have led.
See, right now, this group that's out on the floor for Detroit, what they're doing is all they're doing is switching people off and matching up and then chasing with you. Now, what you have to do is when you look at this, your leadership has got to understand you got to run your offense.
Lindsey Hunter hits the hoop for the first time since the first quarter. The Pistons lead. Where will Chicago go here? Possession to stem the tide. Duhan, the runner, got it back, got fouled by McDyess, and Duhan may have taken a shot. He's okay. That reminds me of Game 2 of our NBA Sunday doubleheader on ABC. LeBron, maybe inspired by the dancing that he was doing with Shaq at All-Star practice last week. They're at the American Airlines Arena in Miami, getting set for Cavaliers Heat Game 2 of our NBA Sunday doubleheader on ABC. Coming up next, he'll be speaking in Miami. A lot of people have talked about the Dwayne Wade injury, out at least a month, perhaps the season, if he has surgery for the dislocated shoulder. How do you think Miami responds in the last 28 games?
Well, I think it's going to be very difficult because you're going to ask a lot of people to step up here now and deliver 20-some-odd points for you. Now you say, well, one guy can't do that. Well, okay, then let's have two guys out of position step up. You have enough veteran guys who have scored a lot of points throughout their career. I also would think that Eddie Jones is a key factor here right now. He's got to step in and get you double figures, and then with somebody else, give that position a major contribution.
They will miss that scoring and the big shots. Carlos Delfino's been in a shooting slump. Knocks down the three, and the Pistons back up top by 2. Luol Deng from the outside. A quick shot, not a lot of movement there. This zone giving Chicago headaches.
Yes, it is, and they're doing a very good job. What you want to see is movement inside the zone, and we're not seeing that for Chicago right now.
Lindsey Hunter takes it. Rebound by Ben Gordon.
See, you got to push. You're struggling right now. You're not getting anything. Your perimeter game has gone stale. Right now, that's a bad pass. You just don't go for the sensational play right now. Every possession from now to the end of this game is big.
This is what the Bulls need. They need games like this performing with success, because this is what they need to do when it matters most. Hamilton turns. McDyess and Delfino knocked each other off the play. Hunter kept it alive, hit McDyess in the mug. Antonio's going, wait, my own guys are knocking me over here. Give me some help. Heinrich's in the corner. Duhan was out of control, and both teams in need of this timeout.
Now, right now, Deng had a dunk right there. All you had to do was deliver a decent pass.
The other guys, the bench, only 4 points for the Pistons in the first half, but Lindsey Hunter gave them the lead. Carlos Delfino a 3. Detroit leads a tight one by 2. Starting with that Barbara Walters Oscars, especially the Oscars, and there's nothing like the Oscars except for the former Niagara star. The Hubies. Hubie Brown from the Niagara days. Give us the Hubies. Now, the season is not done.
No, absolutely not. What we're talking about are people who are leading at this time, in my opinion. Jerry Sloan and Jeff Van Gundy, Utah and Houston doing sensational jobs. Then at the MVP situation, Nash and Nowitzki are in a horse race, and it's definitely close. Then, as you look at the best records, you're saying who are the best two teams? Naturally, it's the Mavericks and Suns, but preferably Nash must be healthy for the Suns to be in that category. Then, who are the most improved players? Well, two of the best are Deron Williams, who are really anchoring this Utah Jazz team, and David Lee, who has been a double-double for the New York Knicks off the bench, has just taken a major leap.
Yes, he has. He has been a significant factor. The Knicks and Nets have a pretty big game tonight.
Yes.
They all of a sudden have their playoff hopes arising again after Kidd and Carter were not dealt and Wade was hurt. Kirk Heinrich with a big 3 out of the timeout to tie the game.
Now, we needed that, Mike. If you are a Chicago fan, you say, wow, it's about time. Absolutely right. It's first time that the penetration and a kick has opened something up, and then a player hits a wide-open jump shot.
7 to shoot. Maxfield remains in. Rasheed Wallace has his sneaker off. We got a lot of physical play with Richard Hamilton, and Heinrich is called for the foul, to the disbelief of the Chicago bench.
Now, Heinrich has got to be careful, and then also Scott Skiles. Scott Skiles is up backing up his player. Now, Heinrich has had a difficult assignment. Anytime that you say that you're going to guard Reggie Miller in his prime or Rick Hamilton right now, you know you're in for a long night. A lot of energy.
Quick rising jumper by Hamilton gives Detroit a 2-point lead, 79-77. Rasheed Wallace came down on, I believe it was Luol Deng in the first quarter, and turned that ankle. He continued to play through, did not shoot it well here today, and now he's on the bench since the third quarter. There's a foul.
Excellent passes, Mike. Excellent passes. You can see it right there. Right there. He catches the foot. All right, right on the heel. All right, but down at this end, anytime that they make outstanding passes, Chicago, and get inside, and Wallace catches the ball, you must foul him, and there's been no hesitation. They're going to foul him and put him on the line.
First free throw in 5 attempts here this afternoon.
Well, this is where you say, look, can you step up? Can you lead? Can you shoot a better percentage? Well, throughout the career, it's been totally inconsistent.
Delfino comes to get the rebound. Detroit came out of the All-Star break with a 1-point win over Milwaukee. Has won back-to-back games over Orlando, trying to make it 4 in a row and 10-1 here in the month of February. Hamilton. Ben Wallace just uses that body to get the rebound. His 7th to go with 5 points. P.J. Brown's got size on Maxey. Try to get set up in there. Heinrich. Nice little finger roll, a little teardrop.
Yeah, I like the fact that Heinrich pushed the ball that time. And by that we mean any time that you get a steal or a deflection or a missed shot, push the ball up and do not allow Detroit to get up in there and set up their defense. Put the pressure on them. Take advantage of the mismatches. Now just keep an eye right here. You're going to see him going right down inside, and that's just a beautiful touch.
Testing.
Big expectations on the big man, Shaquille O'Neal, in the locker room at the American Airlines Arena down in Miami, getting set to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's next as NBA Sunday continues here on ABC, starting with Ben Wallace's return to Detroit and the emotions involved as he faces his old team.
I think the thing I remember most about being a Piston is coming in here and nobody really knowing who I was. Or knowing what to expect from me or what type of game I was going to bring. And the day I decided to leave, knowing that, you know, the time that I spent here, that these fans here put me on a stage that was unparalleled to any stage I ever played on.
Ben, one of 10 of 11 children, traded to Detroit from Orlando, part of the Grant Hill deal, and really wasn't expected to be much and turned into a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. As he returns here tonight, gets the rebound and gets fouled by Hamilton. It was a McDyess shoot that gave Detroit a 1-point lead out of the timeout.
It was only fitting that he did what he was noted for. He got an offensive rebound, right, and got fouled. Now the pressure, naturally, can you put the ball in the basket? But he already has 4 offensive rebounds today.
1 of 7 at the line. Coach, you sat with Ben and talked to him before the game. You were taken by how it really was from the heart what he was feeling about returning to play in front of these fans today.
Absolutely. He appreciated everything that the fans did and how they accepted his fierce competitiveness. Then when they surrounded him with the type of players that they did at that time, they had a ball club that you just loved to cheer for because they were a last-second team, and then also they would go deep in the playoffs for it.
McDyess miss. Weber the putback. McDyess in because of Rasheed Wallace's ankle injury. Back to a 2-point lead halfway through the 4th.
See, there's pressure right now on Deng and Brown. They've got to start rebounding here.
Deng busted to the basket. McDyess waiting.
Look out, 3 on 2.
Hamilton. Heinrich back the other way with numbers. Pistons get back, and Heinrich will set it in the half court.
Now, in that 3 on 2, naturally Ben Wallace got back, and there was the intimidation.
P.J. Brown, last to the party, gets it slapped away. Foul called. Lisa has more on the injured power forward for the Pistons.
Well, Mike, the Pistons strength and conditioning coach Arnie Cantor was working on Rasheed's ankle. I'm told that it is a slight sprain, but that he has been cleared to go back into the game.
Okay, Lisa, thank you. Detroit plays next again against Miami on Friday. So they have the rare, after the All-Star break, 4 games off after this one.
Well, you can see what Flip Saunders is doing. I mean, he's rewarding Jason Maxiell, who has come in here. Wallace is 2 for 11 from the floor with only 3 rebounds. Maxiell has come in, giving him the 4 points, but more important, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks, and has covered that painted area pretty good.
The foul on Richard Hamilton was his 5th. P.J. Brown's free throws get the game square at 83.
Now, this is basketball chess right now. You cannot allow right now for Rip Hamilton to stay out on the floor without going at him at the other end.
Weber over Wallace for 2.
Yeah, he does that well. That's one of his pet areas. Once he gets in there, you know the hook is coming.
Deng looking for an open spot of this very active Piston defense. 7 to shoot for Heinrich. A nice screen by Wallace to give Heinrich a little window. P.J. Brown went over the back to keep it alive, and it's a foul on the Bulls.
Yeah, good call. Good call. No doubt about it. You never get upset when your guys go over the back because they're in there hustling and they're giving everything that they have. But that was an easy call.
You never get upset.
No, you don't, because they're working. The toughest thing in the NBA is to get an offensive rebound because of the body contact, Mike. And you're talking about big diesel engines here now putting a body on you.
Saw Mason, the public address announcer here, who is a local radio personality who made that Detroit basketball phrase into the signature for this team. Phillips knocks it down. Skiles will take a timeout.
Good timeout. No doubt about it. I think Gordon lost his man. That ball went into the post. Gordon turned his head right back out. Now just keep an eye on this. See, this is Chris Webber at his best. He'll take his time. The double team was late. Now just watch what happens here as the ball goes down in. The ball went down in and came back out. Chauncey Billups easy.
BC coming up next. So Chicago trying to get a road win. They've been few and far between. 10 and 18 away from the United Center this year. The Bulls have struggled against the over 500 teams on the road this year, getting only 3 victories against teams that currently have an over 500 record.
The Bulls play you tough, Mike. They're 5-7 in games decided by 3 points or less. So they've been in a lot of difficult games. They've lost 4 games by 1 point. But every time that you lose games like that, you're learning.
P.J. Brown comes at it. He got bodied by Antonio McDyess, and the foul is called. Rasheed Wallace out with the ankle injury. And QB, when people talked about getting a low post scoring option for Chicago at the trading deadline, these are situations. Here you are late in the game, and can you go to Brown? Sure you can. Are you going to go to Ben Wallace? Probably not. That's why they felt that was a hole if this team could win now.
Well, they're front court people, Mike. You post them up, no one's double teaming. You're still going to stay tight on your perimeter people. And that's the difficulty here for this ball club as they come down against the plus 500 teams, the better ball clubs in the East and in the West on the road.
Because all those jump shots that you make in January, February,
that's right.
The warmer it gets, the harder they get to make, right?
That's correct.
Weber tumbles down there. It's a season high in points, by the way, for P.J. Brown with those free throws. He has 19. Phillips working Gordon. Heinrich gets Prince. Tayshaun the length edge there. Weber has to put it on the floor and initiate it. Missed it. Last touch by the Bulls.
I like what Chris Webber did there right now. They went to him for the big shot. And that was an interesting call by the bench. And then he made something happen, and he got a good look at the basket for him. And then the offensive rebounding. Pound the offensive glass now as we go down the stretch.
You see Houston has a lead in Orlando as you look at the NBA scores and schedule. Phillips a 3. Rebound Weber. 3rd try on this trip for Detroit. They still got that Prince guarded by Heinrich mismatch. They've yet to get to it. Phillips.
Good block
by P.J. Brown. Deng with Heinrich. Went right to the rack, and Prince, who's had a series of great blocks over the years, from behind gets it again.
What a play.
Hamilton! Rip hits the deck hard.
Tayshaun Prince, just spectacular. To run down that fast break from behind, never give up at all. Keep an eye now to the top. Now just watch this. He comes right in. He was running with his man. He caught up to him and cut off Heinrich, who was in the left lane and was ahead, and then had the presence to adjust.
And you know, I'm sure he's watching. Our friend Reggie Miller does a great job at TNT. And Reggie knows what's coming next. Remember the playoff game when Prince chased down Reggie Miller in this building and came up with that huge block when Indiana and Detroit had their terrific playoff series, part of this run of the Pistons getting to 4 consecutive Eastern Finals. But Prince has done that so many times with that long reach.
Now, this is just a great move. See, I'm going with 2 hands. You notice you're a young kid out there watching this. You notice he did not go up with the 1 hand. Potential shot block if he gets bumped and he doesn't get the call. No field goal. You go up with both hands now. Go strong. You get fouled. And when you put Hamilton and Billups on the line, you're putting 2 of the best free throw shooters that we have in this league. Both guys shoot up over 87%.
Largest Detroit lead of the day at 5. The Bulls led by 16 at the 7-minute mark of the 3rd quarter.
Well, you know, they're going to just take this video and, you know, they're going to look at it and see, hey, this is what we did incorrectly, how we went away from our offensive sets.
Duhan attacks inside at Weber and converts.
Plenty of time here now. This is a toss-up. This can go either way now. You need to have your defense. Now, remember we talked for 3 quarters. Chicago defense was great. 8 shot blocks in that. Well, we're still sitting on 8.
Now Duhan draws Prince. Help comes from Ben Wallace. Weber caught, miss, McDyess.
Now that's great team play. They had Weber on the first move, and then they had McDyess on the other side. So anytime that you have 2 guys crashing the offensive glass and you get a guard from your team down in there, you're overmatched.
And, Coach, what a great example of if you have a size advantage and they have to help, you may not have to score, but somebody may get an easy basket, and that's what the Pistons made them do there. 2:15 to go in the 4th. Gordon, that's one of his patented moves. He holds it like a running back coming through the hole. He and Wallace couldn't convert, and Detroit has a chance to take it to a 3-possession lead at the 2-minute mark.
Okay, this is where they grind you in this building. They take their time. They understand spacing. They understand who should get the ball. Now, this is one of their big things at playoff time, right there with the jump hook.
And with Prince, that little lefty move. Guys know he's a lefty, still gets it up.
Well, they dare you to run a guy on a double team, Mike. They dare you because their spacing is so good.
Gordon, a big 3. Makes it a 4-point game. Ben Gordon with 17 here today.
Chicago not out of this at all because they have great confidence in their defense. But right now they're going to wear you out in these 2-on-2 situations, and then you make a switch, you get a bad move. Now that 1-on-1 Prince.
He's 6'9", Duhan 6'1", but Duhan does a good job keeping it alive. Just 2 to shoot for Detroit. They have 1 full and a couple of 20s here, and the Pistons are going to take 1 here. So Detroit will take a timeout.
20-second timeout.
Outstanding effort. Outstanding effort by Duhan right there on that deflection.
Tightening up here in Detroit. Here this afternoon on ABC, the Cavaliers huddling, ready to come on out and take on the Miami Heat. That's coming up next, game 2 of our NBA Sunday doubleheader on ABC. 2 on the shot clock for Detroit.
Now, you do not want to lose your man on a backdoor move for a lob to the front of the rim. And also realize that once your man catches the ball, he can get in a dribble before he elevates for that shot.
Ed Malloy, the official, trying to get Chauncey Billups into the correct spot for the inbounds. Also got the Bulls coaching staff to sit down as they were crowding Billups like a subway. Weber turns. Shot clock violation, and the Bulls have it. Down 4 with $1:18 to go. Gordon hit the last one, and he can get hot and enjoys the big moments. Over McDyess, tough shot.
Nice call, by the way. That was a very nice call. No, he does not run away from pressure situations, Mike. He loves this time.
He really does. 2-point game, final minute of regulation. Billups gives up the dribble. It's Weber and Ben Wallace. Wouldn't it be funny if these two decided here today? Weber on the floor, on the run. Missed it. And the rebound, dang. So the Bulls have scored the last 5. They can tie or take the lead here.
They want to keep pushing here now.
Duhan a 3. Rebounded by Hamilton, who hit the deck and got it to Billups.
All right, now the pressure is on your defense. You do not want to foul here because you have plenty of time. But just play tough defense. Try to hold them to one shot.
No fouls to give. Fans to their feet. Billups over Wallace. Prince the rebound. Free throws coming.
Once again, Tayshaun Prince at the end of a crucial game, coming up not just with the play. Just watch this offensive board right here. He comes from out past the foul line to get down in there to recover that ball.
78% shooter. If you weren't with us earlier, Hubie told you that Prince's shots have gone down. He's been the one affected offensively by Weber's presence. Keeps the game very much alive.
Well, the big thing in this second half, which has been a nightmare for the coaching staff of Chicago, right now for the game, 20 offensive rebounds for the Pistons. Now, when you are as good a defensive rebounding team as Chicago, you can see right there the frustrations, mainly because this is a team that usually will hold you to one shot attempt. When you say that you got 12 or 13 against Chicago, that's a lot. 20 is unacceptable because of the closeness of the game.
Bulls have timeouts to take here. A lot of subbing in. P.J. Brown comes in to try to secure the rebound. Prince missed the second. So the Bulls will have a chance to take a 2 to tie or a 3 to take the lead with 18.7 to go and the shot clock off. Chicago timeout. A chance for the Bulls, who have blown a 16-point lead, come back from down 7 here as Prince misses both free throws. Miami has lost both of its games out of the All-Star break to Houston and Dallas. They've lost Dwayne Wade. We'll see what the Heat can do today, taking on LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Shaq headlines Game 2 of our doubleheader coming up next as NBA Sunday continues on ABC. All right, Coach, 19 seconds left. Bulls ball, what are you looking for?
Right, you know that Detroit will come out here and play some type of a zone. They do it consistently coming out of timeouts. Chicago, they know this, so they're coming with a definite set play. The key is when you shoot and you miss, you have to send at least 4 to the offensive glass. If you do not make the shot and you do not get the offensive rebound, you got to foul immediately.
No Ben Wallace to get that offensive rebound. More scoring on the floor. Rasheed Wallace, who hasn't played in mid-third quarter all the way in, he is out as well. So it's Jason Maxiell, Richard Hamilton, Lindsey Hunter, Tayshaun Prince, and Chauncey Billups for the Pistons. Heinrich, Deng, P.J. Brown, Chris Duhan, and the big shooter Ben Gordon for the Bulls. Gordon guarded by Lindsey Hunter. Gordon has it. Shot clock is off. Gordon goes for the quick 2, and he got fouled on his way up.
Yeah, I like the strategy. That time Detroit came out and they played the man-to-man. They ran a down screen. They looked at it, and that just opened up the floor for the drive to the basket. And you knew that Gordon felt that he could take Hunter off the dribble.
87% shooter. I'm laughing, Coach, because I'm watching Chauncey Billups, whose nickname is Mr. Big Shot.
Right.
And he's got a word there for Ben Gordon at the free throw line. He has a reputation for the big shot. He's blowing on his hands, warming his hands up. He's
well,
ready for
we're
it.
supposed to change that now. The referee's supposed to step in there, and the one referee was 5 feet away. He should have said something and got Billups out of that circle.
From the LeBron Arena playoff game last year.
Absolutely.
Gordon to tie the game at 93.
Okay, now we know that both teams have enough timeouts, so this is going to be a real chess match in the last 15 seconds.
Gordon has scored the last summons to tie the game. Can the Pistons win it? On Wednesday, the first time that the Heat were whole all season, and then Wade went out, so Shaq and Riley try to piece together the continuation of Miami's season against the Cleveland Cavaliers next year on ABC. 15 seconds left, all tied at 93. Pistons with possession, and Hubie will take it to full court here.
Yeah, what they want to do is, see, they do not want to have to get in any type of congestion, even though we know that you can pass the ball out of bounds into the backcourt. But this is, hey, let's come up the floor, run some clock, and get into our flow. Get to our stations. We know what the play call is going to be.
22,000 to their feet. Phillips steps back, missed a big shot. Missed it. Weber the putback with 2.2 to go. Timeout, Chicago.
Now, that was a difficult play for Chicago. Chris Webber went right up over the top of P.J. Brown. A great play by Chris Webber. And I like what they did out at the top. They came for a screen for Phillips. He went away from the screen. Now look to the left, right there. Oh, he pushed them out of the way.
Shove, and he got free for the hoop. 2-point lead.
Now just keep an eye. Okay, here we come. Main thing right now is you know that you can make a catch and you can put the ball down on a dribble and get off a shot.
Where's Ben Gordon? He's baseline there, trying to work around Hunter. He's free. This is Gordon for three in the win. No good. And the Pistons win 95-93. It looked like Gordon was going to come back up to the top as he did in the last play, but he's got open for the three in the win. 95-93. Detroit has won 11 of its last 12, 4 in a row. The Bulls' three-game win streak is stopped on Ben Wallace's return. It's the guy who essentially has replaced him who hit the winner.
Now keep your eye to the right side of the screen. You're going to see it right there. Chris Webber with both hands pushed P.J. Brown. P.J. Brown did not have him blocked out. He was facing him. Now at this last play, watch the bump right there to free yourself. Now almost got to it and put pressure, but you did get a good look at the basket. Keep an eye right here now. Now just watch it. Up, perfect. Sure, the intimidation was coming, except you had a good look.
And it hit the top. It was still alive to come on down to the basket. So on Ben Wallace's return game, 6 points, 8 rebounds. Hamilton had 22, Gordon 21, the leading scorers. Our final score, Detroit 95, Chicago 93.